Before this video starts, I would like to say that on May 1st, the 1st of May, there's going to be a live stream on this channel. Here on this live stream, we're going to talk about the NBA, any questions you have, and I'll make sure to answer all of them. So if you want to be there, make sure to come. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So if you live like in Toronto, it's at 5 p.m. and hopefully to see you there and enjoy the video. Welcome back to the channel where we mix things up, and today I'm going to be starting a series on this channel, tier list for every NBA starting in the 2020 to 2021 NBA season. So just a heads up, I'm not going to be using all these players because, for example, let's see, who's someone like, I guess John, okay. Like Frank Ntilikina, he is not the starting point guard anymore. It's Elfrid Payton, or it should be Derrick Rose. But so these aren't all accurate like LeBron. It will be Schroeder for me because this was made before the start of the season. We still had Harden as a shooting guard, so I will replace Harden with, or Kyrie with Harden. And yeah, so just looking at our tier list, we have MVP caliber, All-Star, borderline All-Star, good but not great, and time to draft a new one. So time to draft a new one is basically they're really trash and you have to get a new one. And then good, not great, pretty self-explanatory, borderline all-star, all-star caliber player but might not make it, and all-star, and MVP caliber. So like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, it's okay, but let's get right into it. We first start off with Stephen Curry, MVP caliber. Curry, no doubt, not if LeBron's on a point guard, which, like I said, I will be using Schroeder. He's the best point guard in the league, and he has been for the last 5 years. He's the greatest shooter of all time and has been on an absolute tear recently. He's basically carrying the Warriors, and when Curry's getting triple teamed or double teamed, his teammates don't really do anything. Draymond's a pretty good passer. Wiggins is decent. Kelly Oubre is pretty inconsistent. But just like Damian Lee, Juan Escano-Anderson, yes, they're solid players, but you don't want them to have the ball in their hands. So no doubt Curry MVP caliber. I would say he's going to make All-NBA first team. I personally would have Jokic and Embiid over him right now just because of the 10th seed. If he was the 5th seed at least, he would be my MVP. But Curry, no doubt, greatest shooter of all time, best point guard in the league. Next, Lonzo Ball. Good but not great. Definitely not time to draft a new one because he's still been really solid. His free agency will be really interesting for really get a $20 million deal, 4-year deal, or just like a $10 million 2-year deal. Like any of that happen, I can see that because he's going to have the defense and the playmaking, but his shot can be pretty inconsistent. This season he's shooting like 38%, which you love to see. But I don't know if the Pelicans are going to re-sign him. He seems like a pretty good fit with Zion, with his passing and defense, but just his shooting can be inconsistent. He has been a lot better recently, like I said. And with them drafting Kira Lewis, they have I don't know if they're going to keep him, but definitely good but not great for now. I would say he's an above average point guard. Next, Patrick Beverley. Okay, I'm actually going to make a new tier. Just the average tier. So yeah, just average, and that's where Patrick Beverley goes. Because, I probably forgot about, because time to draft a new one. I guess, they do have Rondo, Reggie Jackson, and those are all solid old point guards, but they're just average. Patrick Beverley can't stay healthy. I don't think I've watched a single game where Patrick Beverley is healthy, which is kind of sad. He's out for a couple more weeks. But yeah, he's a solid defender. I wouldn't say it's time to draft a new one, though. They can't draft anyone, but he's an average player. Next, Darius Garland. Average, but he does have borderline all-star potential. I would say he's better than Patrick Beverley. Recently, he's been averaging like 24 points on like 50-40 splits, which is incredible with Colin Sexton being out. He's super underrated right now, and this backcourt of Sexton and Garland can be really good, though I'm kind of worried that it is a bit undersized, like similar to the Portland one with Dame and CJ, but he's definitely shown a lot of potential. been a lot better than his first year, definitely with the shot selection, just averaging 7 assists this year. And he definitely can, maybe in a couple years, be good, not great, borderline all-star. But for now, average. Next, Kobe White. Okay, I know a lot of Bulls fans that hate Kobe White. He's been really inconsistent. But I think I might be... okay, I'm actually debating putting him time to draft a new one. Because... I mean, they just set a lottery pick on him, but he is definitely... I don't think he's a fit with Zach LaVine. This is a tough one. Okay, so I am going to leave him in the average tier, though I do think that he isn't the long-term answer as a point guard, or as a starting point guard. But, I mean, I personally think it's been Tomas Satoransky starting recently. Oh, with Zach LaVine being out, Kobe White has been a lot better. But I do think that he isn't the long-term answer with Zach LaVine breaking out as your franchise player. But he definitely has a lot of scoring potential, but I'm not sure if it's best if he does in Chicago. Next to DeJounte Murray. I'm high on DeJounte Murray, and I have him at the good, not great, but not great. I mean, I would say he's better than all three of these, and just with his defense, his improved shooting, his pretty good playmaking, and even he's a really good rebounder, I'm really high on DeJounte Murray and his future. I think that he is kind of underrated, and a couple people might have him in the average tier, but I know what he can be. Hopefully he can stay healthy. When with his offensive just impact being more well-rounded, I think he's in the good, not great tier. Next, Frank Ntilikina, which it will be Elfrid Payton. This is the time to draft a new one. Definitely, I mean, Immanuel Quickley and Derrick Rose get more minutes, but Elfrid Payton still starts for some reason. I don't know what Tom Thibodeau is doing in that one. But yeah, time to draft a new point guard for New York. Starting point guard. Next, Luka, MVP caliber. He was destroying the Warriors last night. Oh, it was so... He was just toying with them with step-back threes, incredible passes, just getting it around the paint, getting fouled. Luka is so good. He's a generational talent. Probably the best player you would want to build your franchise around. And we all know how good Luka is. Next, all right, so this... Like I said, this shows Kyrie Irving, but it's actually going to be James Harden. This was before the James Harden trade. And if it's James Harden, MVP caliber. He was top 3 in MVP before he got that hamstring injury. And Harden, with his scoring and not taking that taking that passing role, he's been so good with his just knowing when to pass, but knowing also when to take over when KD and Kyrie are out. So yeah, definitely MVP caliber. Next, Goran Dragic. Oh, I'd also like to say that the point guard position is really good. Just saying. And Goran Dragic, good but not great. I wouldn't say he's a borderline all-star, but he's definitely proved in the playoffs. He can be an elite scorer, pretty good passer. He can catch fire like the Heat. Yeah, but I think that his shooting's really good. He's crafty. He's a good fit alongside Bam. Definitely good, but not great. Hopefully he can stay healthy too. Next up, John Wall. Borderline all-star, good. This is a guy. I think I'm going to put him in the good, not great. Mainly because he can't really stay healthy and he's not really leading to wins. I know the Rockets aren't just a good team at all, but I'm not as high on John Wall as many people are because I do think that he's a good player, but with him just not being able to play on the court, I think that's a big factor of how I'm going to rank him. I think that he's out for the remainder of the season, but John Wall is an interesting one to rank. I'll put him for here right now. Next, Jamal Murray, borderline all-star. He, of course, tore his ACL. Prayers up to him, but he was not an all-star player. But we know what playoff Murray, bubble Murray can be with his elite scoring, just dropping potentially 40-point bombs in the playoffs. And he's definitely a future all-star, but for now, borderline all-star. Next, Malcolm Brogdon. I'll put him in the borderline all-star. I do think that Jamal Murray is better than him, but Brogdon is really underrated. Just being able to do everything efficiently. Shot 50, 40, 90 with the Bucks. He's a good shooter, defender, playmaker. Though I do think that he should have the ball a little bit less because he is really good off ball instead on the paces where he's basically doing everything. But I do think that he's really underrated. Next, Russell Westbrook. God, I know there's a lot of Russ fans and there's a lot of Russ haters. And no matter what you say, you can't convince that fan or hater the other side. If they're a Russ fan, you can't say anything that he isn't as good as some people think. If they're a Russ hater, he becomes underrated. So personally, I'm in the middle. I would personally put him in borderline all-star. Some people might be mad at me for that. I know he's been on an absolute tear recently. I mean, I can't see the all-star because he's been so good and the Wizards are now winning. Okay, for now I'm going to put him in all-star mainly because of this stretch. And they're winning now, and his efficiency has been much better, but I might change that soon. He's definitely not MVP caliber, though. Next, Ben Simmons, all-star, definitely. I recently did a poll who's the best defender in the league. I think it was like 20% Ben Simmons, like 50% Giannis. But it's definitely impressive. I do think he's the best perimeter defender in the league with his length, with his being quick on his feet. And if he develops that shot, Ben Simmons is going to be so good. Next, Trae Young, All-Star. I know he didn't make the All-Star, but he's actually second in assists this whole season, 9.6 assists. And the Hawks are, the 5th seed right now? And that's pretty impressive. I know their role players have been stepping up, but Trae has been the leading part of that with his scoring, playmaking. His defense isn't the worst defense in the league. It's still bad, but it's no longer the worst defender in the whole league. Definitely an All-Star caliber player. Next, Devontae Graham. Okay, I think it should be LaMelo Ball. Yeah, I'm going to put LaMelo Ball here. Okay, not borderline all-star. Good, but not great. I mean, he's only 19, and that's impressive. I would say he's only... Okay, remember, this is LaMelo Ball, not Devontae Graham. I would say he's on the same level as Lonzo, Goran Dragic, Murray. Probably even better than a couple of those guys. But LaMelo hopefully can return soon. His shooting, playmaking's been super impressive and leading to wins. And he has an amazing future in this league. Next, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, borderline all-star. He's been injured recently, which is sad to see. But when he plays, he's an efficient 24-point per game scorer. He's crafty around the rim. He's a pretty good shooter. He's a good playmaker. And especially with the help of the point guard, Chris Paul, that has really helped Shai a lot. And I think he's a future all-star, potentially, or he right now is the franchise player of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I do think that his ceiling isn't as high as many people think. I don't think he'll ever be an MVP guy, but I can definitely see All-NBA. Next, Kemba Walker. Before the season, I would have said all-star. 3 weeks in the season, I would have said, or like 3 weeks from his return, I would have said borderline all-star. I think okay, that's kind of disrespectful to put him in the same tier as Lonzo, though. Because recently, the Celtics have been a lot better, and he's been taking that playmaking role instead of that scoring role. This is a tough one. Okay, I'm going to skip him for now. Next Dame, MVP caliber. He's recently been hurt and hasn't been playing too well in April, but I think the Blazers their defense is a struggle. I don't know if the Norman Powell trade was the best with them having 3 6'3" or under players in their 1, 2, and 3, which definitely isn't that good. But Dame time, we all know who that is. He's probably going to make All-NBA second team, probably behind Harden or Luka, one of those guys. And then the other guy, Harden or Luka, will make the second team alongside Dame. But Dame, his deep threes, he's actually really underrated. His athleticism, and he's definitely a really good leader and MVP caliber, no doubt. Next, Ricky Rubio. Average. I mean, I would say it's, I don't know if D'Lo's here. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the Timberwolves. Okay, Chris Paul's here. Okay, I have no idea. I don't know if the jerseys match everything, but for Ricky Rubio, he's definitely average. Definitely his efficiency's been down and hasn't been as good with a not healthy Wolves team, but still a really good playmaker. Can hit the 3-point shot a little bit, but I would say he's just an average player. Then Kyle Lowry. borderline all-star. He was not an all-star this year, mainly because his stats are decent. 18 points per game, like 38% from three. But the reason he makes the all-star team every year is that the Raptors are a top 2 seed every year. And with the Raptors being the 10 seed, he's not going to make the All-Star team. Now, there's a reason why a lot of teams wanted Kyle Lowry in the deadline with his leadership, playmaking, scoring. He's just a winning player, and he's definitely last year would have been an All-Star tier, but this year I would say borderline All-Star has kind of taken a step back, mainly because the Raptors aren't as good. Next, so this will be Dennis Schroeder. He's going to be good, not great. With LeBron and AD out, he's been on an absolute tear. Because I watch every Laker game, I know how good Schroeder is. When he's out of the game, the Lakers really struggle on offense, which just proves his value. He hopefully will be a lot still this good, being aggressive, playmaking alongside LeBron and AD. Oh, wait, remember? I did not put LeBron in the good but not great tier. This is Dennis Schroeder. Remember that. Next, Drew Holiday. Borderline All-Star. I would say he's on the same tier as Kyle Lowry. I would probably say Lowry's a slightly bit better, but he's a lockdown defender. He's been hitting his threes this year. He's just been helping this Bucks team out a lot. This Bucks team has been experimenting with a lot of lineups, and Drew Holiday, he's been a lot better recently. But in the beginning, he wasn't accumulated to the offense yet, and I think that he can be a really big change maker in the playoffs. Though I'm not sure if it's enough. Then Markelle Fultz. Okay, he of course tore his ACL like Jamal Murray, but I don't know how I rank him. Do I say average because he is injured? I mean, right now the starting point guard is Cole Anthony because Fultz has been hurt. But we did count Murray in here. I'm gonna say he's I would personally have all of these. Okay, I'm gonna put him in the average tier. I think that he definitely has a pretty bright future in the league if he can improve his jump shot, especially from three. And he as a playmaker, he was really good at the start of the season before, of course, tearing his ACL. And Markelle, he's proven why he was drafted number 1 overall. I still think he is a bust, but just because you're a bust doesn't mean you're gonna be a bad player for the rest of your career. Next, okay, so this is gonna be the Pistons, which is like Killian Hayes, I'm pretty sure. Killian Hayes, he's just young and inexperienced. Okay, I wouldn't say, okay. Killian Hayes, he is one of the worst point guards in the league. I think we can all admit that because the point guard is so stacked. I'm not saying it's time to draft a new replacement for Killian Hayes, but he is at the bottom of the barrel. Remember, this is not Derrick Rose, this is Killian Hayes. Next, we have Ja Morant. Borderline All-Star, Ja Morant has been on fire from 3 recently and has been exploding for like 25 points plus, like 8 assists every night. Ja Morant's potential is insane. Yes, he does have the most what-if missed dunks in probably NBA history, or definitely in the modern, or definitely in the current NBA. But this kid has talent. Next, Chris Paul, MVP caliber All-Star. I'm going MVP caliber. I do think that Chris Paul is that valuable. I can see you argue for All-Star, but I think that just changing this whole Suns culture they didn't really make too many changes. Yes, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton developed, Cam Johnson developed, they signed Jay Crowder, but Chris Paul has changed this whole team. And I think the reason why DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges have developed is because of Chris Paul. And I think that value definitely deserves him to be in the MVP race. I think he's going to make All-NBA 13 this year. Probably him and Mitchell to make the 13. Oh, Kyrie's. Probably not second team with Curry, Luka, Harden, Dame. But Chris Paul's value is insane. Next to De'Aaron Fox. Borderline All-Star too. Fox is one of the most underrated players in the league. I don't think a lot of people know that he's averaging 25 points a game, close to 26 points per game. And Fox has been so good, especially with him attacking the rim. He's so efficient around the rim. And with him improving his jump shot and having already a consistent mid-range, the Kings have a really good talent in Fox, though basically besides Tyrese Halliburton, there's no other bright spots. Next, Mike Conley. He did make the All-Star team, but I'm still going to have him in borderline All-Star, mainly because he was a third-string replacement. I would personally have him in the same ranking with Kyle Lowry, Murray, Fox, Drew Holiday, Josh Shea, Brogdon. Yeah, so I do think that Mike Conley, everyone knows he's underrated, so he's not underrated anymore. But definitely 41% from three this year. Definitely a big part of this Jazz team. And finally, Kemba Walker. I'm putting him in borderline All-Star. He's been a lot better recently, and if it leads to wins, I think Kemba Walker, yes, he's overpaid, and probably the Celtics regret signing him, but he still can light up in the playoffs. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Hopefully, his jump shot can be fixed. But I'm cool with borderline All-Star. So this is going to be my list. I'm going to review it, and I'll come back. So I think I like this tier list. Comment down below what your thoughts about this tier list. No matter what I do, not everyone is gonna be happy about it. And if you did agree with this list, yes, that's pretty cool. Comment down below your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and see you all next time.